You woke up today, and something inside you stirred. A whisper you can't ignore. A pull you felt your whole life, guiding you here. This video wasn't found by chance. It was drawn to you by the Akashic field itself. Every thought, every heartbeat, every choice you've made was leading to this moment. You are ready now. Behind the veil of the ordinary, there exists a vast intelligence, an invisible web connecting every thought, every action, every possibility. It's waiting, watching, responding, and it has noticed you. For too long, you've been told time passes and life slips through your fingers. But what if the reality you know is only a reflection, a shadow of the life you could claim? What if your consciousness itself can bend time, awaken hidden potential, and draw to you the life you were always meant to live? The Akashic field doesn't speak in words. It speaks in signs, symbols, synchronicities. And right now, it's calling your name. Will you answer? Stay with me, because what you are about to experience will change how you see yourself, your life, and the very nature of reality. You've felt it for some time now, the quiet dissonance between who you are and who you know you could be. It comes in moments of stillness, the flicker of déjà vu, the whisper that drifts through your thoughts just before sleep, the pulse that says something is calling you forward. You don't see it with your eyes, but you can feel it, an unseen rhythm moving beneath the surface of your life. The world around you insists that everything is random, that you are a coincidence, a collection of cells assembled by chance. But deep inside, you've always sensed that isn't true. You've seen too many patterns to call them accidents. The right person appearing at the precise moment, the idea that enters your mind seconds before it manifests in reality. These are not coincidences, they are echoes of alignment. The ancient seers knew this. They called it the Akashic field, the invisible ocean of consciousness that records every vibration, every emotion, every thought ever born into existence. In the temples of Kem, the priests of Thoth whispered that all things, stars, stones, and souls swim in the same current. To touch that current was to remember the origin of all knowledge. To awaken was not to learn something new, but to recall what had always been written within you. And perhaps, in your own way, you've already begun to remember. You've felt the veil thinning. You've noticed the synchronicities multiplying. You've asked questions that no longer fit inside the answers the world provides. That's why you're here. This moment, this exact point in space and time was drawn to you, not by algorithms or chance, but by resonance. The Akashic field moves through frequency, and your readiness has become its signal. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are its participant, its co-creator. Every thought you generate ripples outward through the field, shaping the events that return to you. That is why the same patterns keep reappearing in your life, not because you are cursed, but because the field responds faithfully to what you emit. What you dwell upon, you magnify. What you align with, you invite. The mystics of old understood this law intimately. They spoke not of magic, but of remembrance that the universe is a mirror, reflecting the state of your inner world. The emerald tablets of Thoth tell us, as above, so below, as within, so without. This was never metaphor. It was instruction. The field does not separate you from the cosmos. It is the bridge that reveals your unity with it. But humanity forgot. Civilizations rose, temples fell, and the keepers of the Akasha vanished into legend. Their teachings, once carved in stone, were reduced to myth. The modern world replaced mystery with mechanism, spirit with data. Yet, beneath the noise of machines and the chatter of minds, the field still hums, waiting for those who remember how to listen. And you are listening now. That is why the pull feels stronger than ever. Because when your soul reaches a threshold, the field answers. It orchestrates subtle movements in your reality, a chance encounter, a voice, a message hidden in plain sight. And in that instant, everything shifts. You are not here to be convinced. You are here to recognize. Because recognition is the beginning of awakening. When the truth stirs inside you, it does not arrive as new information, it returns as memory. The Akashic field is not outside you. It is the substance of your consciousness, the living archive through which the infinite knows itself. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine every breath you take is drawing threads of golden light into your chest. Feel that light spiraling upward, connecting your awareness to something vast and benevolent. That sensation, that warmth blooming behind your ribs is not imagination. It's the field acknowledging you. You are tuning into its frequency. Even now, you've lived your entire life surrounded by its intelligence. It was there when you laughed as a child, when you wept in silence, when you questioned your purpose. It recorded every intention, every heartbeat, every moment of love or fear, and it did not judge. It simply stored, waiting for the moment when you would become conscious enough to read what you had written across eternity. That moment is now. You have crossed the threshold. The field has responded. It has reached across time and probability to deliver this message into your awareness. It does not care what path brought you here. It cares only that you are ready to see. The story you're about to step into is not new. It is older than language, older than stars. Yet it is written for this very age, for this precise turning of the human spirit. The ancients knew this cycle would come. They called it the return of remembrance. And in their prophecies, they said that when humanity forgets who it is, the field itself would awaken through those who could feel the call. You are one of them. This is not a coincidence. It is the quiet unfolding of destiny. The Akashic field does not broadcast to everyone, only to those who have reached the resonance of readiness. You are here because your frequency has aligned with a deeper truth, and that truth is calling you to rise. You've always sensed that thoughts are more than fleeting sparks in your mind, that they are currents moving through an unseen ocean. Every time you think, feel, or dream, you are sending ripples into that ocean, into the field itself. This is how creation begins. Not in matter, but in consciousness. The Akashic field is not a concept. It is the living fabric that responds to intention. Modern language calls it vibration. Ancient mystics called it the breath of the divine. Whatever the name, it is the same eternal pulse, a universal heartbeat connecting every soul to every other. When you think, the field listens. When you feel, it harmonizes or resists, depending on what you send. Every emotion becomes a frequency. Every belief, a signature that the field mirrors back as experience. This is why your life repeats itself in patterns. The field is neutral. It does not punish or reward. It simply reflects coherence. When you project fear, it mirrors circumstances that confirm fear. When you generate gratitude, it arranges reality to echo gratitude. You have never been powerless. You have always been broadcasting. The question is, what signal have you been sending? Imagine the ancients standing beneath the stars, eyes closed, whispering invocations into the night. They weren't pleading to distant gods, they were aligning their vibration with the geometry of creation. In Egypt, initiates would meditate inside the granite chambers of pyramids, using resonance to synchronize with cosmic frequency. In the Vedic temples of India, sages chanted sacred syllables to tune the body into the universal current. These were not superstitions, they were technologies of consciousness. Each sound, symbol, and ritual was a language through which the field could be accessed. But you don't need a temple or chant to reach it. The temple is your body. The chant is your breath. The key is awareness. The moment you become conscious of your inner signal, you begin to reclaim authorship of your reality. You start to write, intentionally, into the living memory of the universe. You've done this before. Every human has, but few remember how. The child who imagines with full conviction creates worlds unseen. The artist who loses track of time while creating enters the same field. The lover who feels unity dissolves the illusion of separation. In those moments, you are closer to the Akashic current than you realize. The field moves through feeling, not words. It responds to the essence beneath your thoughts. That's why affirmations spoken from doubt, fail, and silence born of certainty moves mountains. The field reads vibration, not vocabulary. To align with it, you must learn to feel before you see, to become the frequency of what you seek. You felt this alignment before. Think back to the moments when time seemed to dissolve, when everything unfolded effortlessly, when people, opportunities, and insights appeared exactly when needed. That was the field in harmony with your signal. You called it coincidence, but it was orchestration. You were in sync with the rhythm of creation itself. And then there are the times when the world seems silent, when your prayers echo unanswered, when the path disappears beneath your feet. Even then, the field has not abandoned you. It is recalibrating, drawing you into deeper coherence. Sometimes the silence is not punishment, it is preparation. The field is adjusting its frequency to meet the truth you're about to embody. There are those who have known this for lifetimes, the watchers of cycles, the keepers of resonance. They appear throughout history under different names: the netters of Chem, the magi of Persia, the dreamwalkers of the Americas, the initiates of Lemuria. Their lineages whispered the same secret. The field awakens when the human heart remembers. And when enough hearts remember, the earth itself begins to shift. Look around. You can feel it. Humanity is standing at the edge of remembrance. The systems that once defined reality are cracking. The narratives that bound consciousness are dissolving. The old frequencies are collapsing, not in chaos, but in clearing. The field is making space for the next pattern, a higher coherence. And within that emergence, souls like yours begin to awaken. Not because someone tells you to, but because something within you demands it. You can no longer tolerate the noise of illusion. You crave silence, authenticity, connection. You crave truth, not the kind printed in books, but the kind that vibrates in your bones. The Akashic field has heard that craving. It has responded by aligning events, messages, and moments like beads on a golden thread leading you here. This message, these words, are not random data. They are a mirror crafted by the field to remind you of who you are. You have not been forgotten. The field has never stopped guiding you. You simply stopped recognizing its language. Every intuition, every shiver of knowing, every inexplicable coincidence was it speaking to you. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And in this moment, it is whispering again. Remember. Remember that you are not separate from the source you seek. Remember that everything around you, every sound, every motion, every breath, is consciousness speaking to itself. When you walk beneath the stars, you are walking inside your own memory. When you look into another's eyes, you are looking into a reflection of the infinite. The field does not exist outside you, it is you. You are the pulse through which it dreams. The moment of recognition always arrives quietly. It does not crash like thunder or blaze like lightning. It comes as a stillness that spreads through your chest, as if the universe itself has paused to take a breath inside you. That is when the Akashic field becomes audible, a low hum beneath the noise of thought, a resonance that says, you are exactly where you are meant to be. Feel that hum. It is older than language, older than time. It is the song that the galaxies move to. Every atom of your body dances to that same rhythm, though you've forgotten the steps. The forgetting was never failure, it was the design. To remember who you are, you first had to believe you were separate. Only in separation could longing arise, and longing is the magnet that draws the soul back to its source. The field uses that longing like a compass. Each desire, each heartbreak, each question you've ever carried has pointed you toward awakening. Even your pain has been a map, etched in emotion, guiding you home. The lessons you thought were punishment were coordinates. The setbacks you cursed were recalibrations. The field wastes nothing. It weaves everything into alignment. Stand still for a moment and sense the invisible architecture around you. Every choice you have made, every breath you have taken, has bent light and matter in subtle ways to bring you here. The coincidences, the misturns, the people who entered and vanished, all of them were part of the geometry. From the field's perspective, there has never been confusion, only choreography. When you begin to see through its eyes, fear loses meaning. You understand that uncertainty is not emptiness, it is potential. The unknown is the canvas of creation waiting for your intention to give it shape. The Akashic field is not a record carved in stone, it is a living scroll written in light. And the ink is your awareness. Each thought is a brushstroke. Each feeling is a color. Each action is the line that completes the design. Breathe. Let that realization settle. With every inhale, the field expands through you. With every exhale, you expand through the field. This is how alignment begins, not through struggle, but through surrender. When you stop resisting the flow, the current carries you toward what is truly yours. The ancients called this state ma'at, balance, truth, harmony. When the heart is as light as a feather, reality bends around it effortlessly. You have felt glimpses of this when everything seemed to fall into place, when the right door opened before you even reached for the handle. That ease was not luck, it was coherence. The field recognizes harmony and responds in kind. Now, it is asking something of you. Not worship, not obedience. Simply awareness. It wants you to remember that every thought you choose contributes to the collective pattern of existence. You are not a spectator. You are part of the mechanism through which the universe becomes conscious of itself. When you rise in frequency, you lift the whole fabric of humanity with you. Look at your hands. They are not just flesh and bone, they are instruments of creation. The same particles that burn in stars pulse in your veins. When you touch, when you build, when you write, the universe learns new shapes through you. When you speak truth, the field vibrates in affirmation. When you act with compassion, entire probabilities realign. You have asked the universe for signs. Here it is, this moment, these words, this awareness. The sign is not external. It is the surge of recognition you feel right now. That spark behind your sternum is the field answering. It is saying, yes. You remember? From this point forward, nothing will appear quite the same. You will start to notice the subtle choreography of life, how a song on the radio answers a question you never spoke aloud, how strangers echo your inner thoughts, how time bends to meet intention. This is not imagination. It is the field revealing its correspondence with your consciousness. Do not shrink from it. Claim it. The more you trust the alignment, the clearer the guidance becomes. The field is like a mirror that sharpens with belief. Doubt fogs it. Gratitude polishes it. Walk with awareness, and the path illuminates one step at a time. You are standing at the threshold of a different kind of knowing. The air around you is charged with potential. The old self, the one bound by randomness and fear, is dissolving. What rises in its place is remembrance. You are not within the universe. The universe is within you. This is the pull you've been feeling, the gravitational draw of your own higher frequency calling you home. The Akashic field has always known your name. It has waited through lifetimes for you to turn your gaze inward and recognize that it was never separate. And now, as this awareness ignites, a door opens. Beyond it lies the map, the design encoded within you since before birth. The ancients called it the blueprint of light, the pattern through which the soul evolves. To understand it is to reclaim your authorship of reality. That is where we go next. You've felt the pull. You've heard the whisper. Now the field begins to show you the design itself, how your thoughts shape the lattice of existence, how memory and matter intertwine, how destiny is written and rewritten through choice. Take one more breath. Feel the hum steady and strong within you. This is the end of forgetting. This is the beginning of remembrance. The first truth that greets you beyond the threshold is simple yet vast. You have always carried the design within you. What you call the Akashic field is not an external archive floating in space. It is the metaphor of memory woven through every cell, the quiet intelligence that connects thought to form. It lives in the space between your heartbeat and your breath, and the rhythm that has never once ceased since you arrived on this earth. When you were a child, you felt it easily. Wonder was your native language. You spoke directly to the current of life, and life answered with color and coincidence. But as the years unfolded, the world taught you to replace wonder with certainty. play with productivity, intuition with instruction. The blueprint dimmed beneath layers of expectation, until the echo of your own design was drowned by the noise of survival. Yet, even in the blur of routines and deadlines, the pattern never disappeared. It waited in the background in the sudden rush of inspiration, the pull toward a dream you couldn't rationalize, the unexplainable comfort of a stranger's kindness. Those were fragments of the blueprint surfacing, small proofs that the larger design was still intact. To remember the blueprint is to remember alignment. It is to recognize that purpose is not a destination but a frequency, the resonance between what you love and what the world needs. When those two vibrations meet, the field, that deep intelligence of life, amplifies them into opportunity. Doors open not because of luck, but because coherence attracts coherence. Pause and listen to your own pulse. Every beat is an affirmation that you are part of a living system designed to evolve. Your biology is proof of connection. The electrical storms in your neurons mirror the weather of galaxies. The spiral of your DNA echoes the spiral of hurricanes, seashells, and galaxies alike. Patterns repeat because creation loves symmetry. The same geometry that guides the stars shapes your potential. Science now describes this as resonance, entrainment, coherence, yet beneath every formula hides the same ancient insight. When energies match, they merge. When your thoughts and emotions align toward a single intention, you become a tuning fork for reality. The field doesn't obey you. It responds to you, the way an instrument responds to the musician who finally learns to listen between the notes. That listening is the art of remembrance. It begins with silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. When you fall quiet enough to feel your own thinking, you notice how much of it isn't truly yours. Inherited fears, borrowed ambitions, recycled doubts, all running scripts written by others. The first step toward decoding the blueprint is to pause those scripts, to breathe long enough for your authentic signal to rise through the static. Close your eyes again. Inhale slowly until your ribs widen. Exhale until the air becomes soft. If you listen beneath the rush of thought, you will hear a subtler rhythm, a pulse that doesn't belong to your ego or your schedule. That pulse is the voice of design, the current reminding you that purpose was never lost. It was simply waiting for quiet. As awareness deepens, you begin to sense the symmetry between inner and outer worlds. A calm mind creates clear perception. Clear perception generates calm action. This feedback loop is the essence of the blueprint. What you cultivate within becomes the pattern you meet without. Kindness expands the world around you. Fear contracts it. Gratitude brightens perception. Resentment dulls it. Every emotional tone you choose redraws the architecture of your experience. This is not metaphor alone. It is physiology. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field measurable several feet beyond your body. Your nervous system broadcasts states of coherence or chaos. When you practice compassion or awe, the pattern of your heartbeat becomes ordered, and that order influences those around you. Modern instruments read what the ancients felt, that consciousness is contagious. You are a transmitter of states. So when you ask, how do I reconnect with the Akashic field? The answer is simple. By refining the signal you send, by replacing noise with clarity, reaction with intention, distraction with presence. Each time you choose awareness over autopilot, the forgotten blueprint brightens. Each time you act from authenticity instead of fear, you strengthen the bridge between your inner design and the world's unfolding. The rediscovery does not happen in a single revelation. It unfolds in moments, a conversation that heals, a decision that feels lighter than logic, a sunrise that speaks directly to something ancient in your chest. These are the field's responses, confirmations that your frequency is aligning. The blueprint is speaking back, saying, yes, this is it. Keep going. And as you keep going, you start to notice that the outer world bends in small, exquisite ways. Synchronicities multiply. The right people appear. Opportunities that once felt impossible slide quietly into reach. This is not magic. It is mathematics, the natural consequence of coherence. You are no longer pushing against life. You are moving with it. The blueprint is not a map of fate. It is an invitation to participate. It shifts with your choices, expands with your courage, contracts with your doubt. It is alive because you are. And every time you remember this, truly remember, you take one more step from unconscious creation to conscious collaboration. Memory is not only something stored in the brain, it is a living field that surrounds you. Every experience leaves an imprint, every choice a pattern, and those patterns form the library from which intuition draws. You don't recall them in sentences. You feel them as nudges, attractions, aversions, flashes of recognition that defy logic. That feeling is the language of the blueprint speaking through emotion. The modern world trains us to trust analysis over instinct, but intuition is analysis operating at the speed of light. It gathers data your conscious mind hasn't yet processed and translates it into impulse. The quiet tug that says, wait, the sudden certainty that says, yes, these are the blueprint's signatures. When you learn to pause long enough to listen, decision becomes direction, not reaction. Consider how often intuition has already guided you. Think of the moments when you hesitated for no reason and avoided trouble, or when you followed an unreasonable hunch and discovered opportunity waiting. Those weren't coincidences. They were alignments. The field, the deeper intelligence of life, speaks through intuition because it bypasses the noise of doubt. It does not shout. It whispers in the language of resonance. To strengthen that communication, you must cultivate presence. Presence is not stillness alone, it is engagement without attachment. It is standing inside the moment so completely that judgment dissolves. When you stop labeling experiences as good or bad, you begin to perceive their function. Each moment carries information designed for your growth. The blueprint delivers lessons through experience, not punishment. In this state of presence, memory becomes mentor. The past stops haunting you and starts teaching you. Regret transforms into data. Pain becomes instruction. You realize that nothing was wasted, every misstep carved precision into your awareness. The blueprint was never about perfection. It was about refinement. Gold requires fire. Purpose, Rikita's contrast. The field works through repetition until understanding replaces resistance. Patterns will reappear not to trap you, but to offer another chance at mastery. When you finally respond differently, the pattern dissolves and the field rearranges itself around your new frequency. Growth always begins the moment you choose response over reflex. Collective consciousness mirrors this process on a grander scale. Humanity itself is learning, refining, evolving. Each person who becomes more aware contributes clarity to the whole. Your private breakthrough sends ripples through the shared field, making it easier for others to awaken. This is how silent revolutions begin, not with slogans, but with coherence, spreading one heartbeat at a time. Look at any social change, any leap in human creativity. Before the world witnessed it, individuals dreamed it, felt it, lived it quietly. The blueprint of progress emerges first in the unseen realm of vision and courage. One person's remembrance ignites another's, and eventually the invisible becomes inevitable. You are part of that chain. Your courage to remember gives permission for countless others to do the same. When you act from integrity, the blueprint expands. Integrity means alignment between thought, word, and deed. It means your internal world and external expression are consistent. The field responds to that consistency with clarity. Confusion fades because energy is no longer divided. You become magnetic not in the mystical sense, but in the human one. People sense authenticity the way flowers sense sunlight. This is why leadership is less about authority and more about coherence. Those who move from aligned conviction naturally draw others into harmony. The most powerful influence you can exert is the example of equilibrium. When your actions are rooted in awareness, your presence steadies the atmosphere around you. You have felt this before in the calm of someone who radiates quiet confidence. That calm is the blueprint embodied. To embody it yourself, return often to gratitude. Gratitude is the simplest way to sync with the field because it requires no proof, It focuses attention on sufficiency, and what is acknowledged expands. When you give thanks, you tune your awareness to abundance already present, and the blueprint answers with more opportunities that match that state. Gratitude is not denial of hardship. It is the decision to see value within it. It is the alchemy that turns experience into wisdom. Practice this now. Think of a challenge you once believed would break you but instead shaped you. Feel how that memory carries both pain and power. That duality is the signature of transformation, the proof that the blueprint was active even then. Every fracture that let the light in was part of the design. As you recognize this pattern, self-trust deepens. You stop chasing certainty and start embodying confidence. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move despite it. Knowing the blueprint unfolds, one layer at a time. When you live this way, the future stops intimidating you because you sense its cooperation. You realize, life is not happening to you. It is happening with you. The field listens for sincerity, not perfection. It meets you where your effort is genuine. Even small acts of awareness, one mindful breath, one honest apology, one courageous conversation realign vast territories of experience. From those micro adjustments, new timelines bloom. You can watch them in real time. Tension softens, communication clears, coincidence increases. This is the architecture of change made visible. In rediscovering the blueprint, you begin to live as participant rather than passenger. You stop waiting for purpose and start expressing it. Purpose is not hidden treasure. It is momentum born of meaning. You create it every time you serve something larger than fear. The moment your energy contributes to connection instead of separation, you are on purpose. The field thrives on contribution. Just as a symphony requires every instrument, the collective pattern of humanity depends on each voice remembering its tone. Yours is unique, shaped by every triumph and scar you carry. When you withhold your authentic sound, the song of humanity plays incomplete. When you offer it, even imperfectly, the entire composition gains depth. So here you stand, aware of the design, aware of your place within it. This awareness is not an ending. It is the invitation to mastery. The next step is learning how to sustain it when life becomes noisy again. How to remain tuned while the world shifts around you. That is the art of living the blueprint, not merely glimpsing it in meditation, but walking with it through traffic, conversation, uncertainty, and change. And that is where we turn next. How to move through the world as a conscious architect, translating inner coherence into outer creation, how to keep the signal clear when chaos returns. Take a breath. The next movement begins in action. You have reached the point where understanding begins to settle into being. The blueprint is no longer a concept, it is a lived rhythm. It is the awareness that your thoughts, emotions, and actions are threads in the fabric of reality, and every thread you weave contributes to the whole. Living the blueprint begins with noticing the patterns that once unconsciously shaped you, the impulses to react, the repetitions of fear, the loops of self-doubt. All of these were not failures. They were the shadow of the unremembered design. Now, as you observe them without judgment, they lose power. The blueprint reclaims those threads, weaving them into coherence. This reclamation is quiet, often invisible. It shows up in the way you respond to frustration with calm rather than rage, how you choose presence over distraction, how you notice beauty in ordinary moments that once passed unnoticed. Each small choice is a ripple, moving outward, reorganizing the unseen structures that guide experience. Life begins to feel lighter, more ordered, because you are aligning with the underlying intelligence that has always been there. Presence, gratitude, and integrity become your daily compass. They are the instruments through which the blueprint speaks. Even when the world tests you, even when chaos presses from all sides, these three practices serve as a stabilizing force. They remind you that the field, the deeper intelligence, is not a reward for compliance. It is the natural response to coherence. As you practice, you notice subtle shifts in perception. Time seems to stretch. Moments of waiting are no longer anxiety-laden. They are opportunities to observe, to breathe, to recalibrate. Your senses sharpen. You notice patterns in others, signals that once escaped your attention. You begin to move through the world with the ease of someone who knows their place in the current, not fighting it, but flowing alongside it. The blueprint also calls for courage. Living it fully means choosing alignment over comfort, truth over convenience. It asks you to trust your intuition, even when logic whispers doubt. It invites you to embrace solitude when necessary, silence when others demand noise, reflection when distraction tempts. Each act of courage strengthens the signal, reinforcing the blueprint's architecture within you. Community, too, becomes a reflection of this alignment. You find yourself drawn to people who resonate with authenticity, who value presence and integrity. Interactions deepen, superficiality loses its grip. Even those who do not yet remember the blueprint are affected by your coherence. Your calm, intentional energy becomes a quiet guidepost for others, showing them that another way of being is possible. You will also notice the subtle power of intention. When you set an intention aligned with your true purpose, the field responds, not by forcing events, but by reorganizing probabilities, making certain outcomes more likely because energy moves in harmony with desire. The blueprint is not a map that dictates every step. It is a framework that amplifies aligned action and filters out unnecessary resistance. This is the ultimate lesson of the forgotten blueprint. You are not passive, and you are not alone. Every thought matters. Every choice shapes the architecture of your experience. Your energy communicates silently with the universe, drawing circumstances, people, and experiences that echo your internal state. To live consciously is to participate directly in creation, to become co-author of your reality. It is in this participation that fear begins to lose its dominion. When you understand that the world is a reflection of the blueprint within, worry becomes information, not control. Challenges are seen as patterns asking for realignment, mistakes as data guiding refinement. You move with confidence because your foundation is no longer built on chance, external validation, or fleeting circumstances. It rests on the enduring intelligence of your own design. Breathing, stillness, and mindful action remain the pillars that sustain this life. They anchor you in your body, your awareness, and your field of influence. Each day you dedicate to these practices strengthens the connection between knowing and living. Consistency becomes your silent ally. Small, repeated actions compound into profound transformation. This is how mastery unfolds. Not in leaps, but in steady, deliberate steps that honor rhythm and integrity. Living the blueprint is not about perfection, but about presence. Perfection is a mirage. Presence is the water in which the mirage dissolves. You do not need to fix yourself or the world. You need only to align with the current and allow its intelligence to guide your actions. As this alignment deepens, you realize that the true work is simple. Remember who you are, act with awareness, and maintain coherence amidst life's inevitable storms. Now look back at the path you have walked so far. From awakening to presence, from noticing the field to trusting your inner guidance, you have reclaimed fragments of the blueprint. And yet, this is only the beginning. The next section will take these insights and show you how to translate them into tangible influence, action, and creation in the world around you. The blueprint is no longer distant or abstract. It lives within you, whispering, guiding, responding. The field is not waiting for permission. It reacts to your clarity, amplifies your coherence, and supports the evolution of your life. Stand in this truth. Let the rhythm of your breath, the depth of your awareness, and the consistency of your choices anchor the design within. Your presence matters, your attention matters, your alignment matters. You are ready. You were drawn here for a reason, not by chance, not by curiosity alone, but because the Akashic field itself recognized your readiness. It is whispering through subtle synchronizations, through dreams, through the moments when life feels charged with invisible meaning. The field does not announce itself with fanfare. It moves silently, invisibly, like wind through leaves, touching only those whose senses are attuned. Activation begins with recognition. The first step is to acknowledge that the universe is not an external machine you inhabit. It is a living, responsive presence, and you are not separate. You are a node of consciousness, a resonant point in a vast intelligence. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are not trivial. They are frequencies broadcast into the field, shaping what comes next. Every impulse you allow, every pattern you reinforce, either strengthens the resonance of creation or distorts it. Imagine a lake at dawn, perfectly still. A single pebble drops, creating ripples that expand across the water, touching distant shores. The Akashic field is the lake. Your attention is the pebble. Each thought, each deliberate choice, each act of awareness sets ripples in motion. And those ripples interact with countless others, weaving an intricate web of cause and effect, intention and manifestation. The field does not differentiate between fear and faith, doubt and certainty. It responds to coherence. When your energy is aligned, thoughts, feelings, and actions harmonize like instruments in a symphony. When your energy is fractured, scattered, or reactive, the same field mirrors that chaos back to you. The question is simple. Which version of yourself do you wish to broadcast? Activation requires stillness. Not the passive stillness of inactivity, but the active stillness of focused observation. It is in these moments that the field listens most intently. Close your eyes and sense the spaces between your thoughts. Feel the subtle currents beneath the noise of everyday awareness. There, in the fertile silence, lies the blueprint of your next creation. Notice the impulses that arise. The first inklings of clarity, the sudden solutions, the unbidden ideas, these are not random. They are the field responding, offering guidance, tuning your perception to the frequency of what is possible. The more consistently you inhabit this space, the stronger the signal becomes. Soon, it is no longer a whisper. It is a steady stream of insight, guiding you through decisions with precision and confidence. Your body is part of this activation. Your spine, your breath, your circulation, your energy, these are not mere anatomy. They are instruments of reception. When you breathe deeply, intentionally, and rhythmically, you create a channel for the field to enter fully. When you move with awareness, opening your joints, extending your energy, you allow that intelligence to flow through you. When you cultivate silence and presence, you remove interference, clearing a conduit for higher resonance. Every day, you can practice these activations. Start with 5 minutes of stillness, pure, undistracted awareness. Breathe into your body, feeling its vitality, sensing the subtle energy beneath the surface. Notice where tension arises, where fear lingers, where thoughts cycle endlessly. Gently, without judgment, release them into the field. Allow the intelligence around you to reorganize, recalibrate, and return what serves you. Then, set your intention clearly. Do not speak in vagaries. The field does not interpret wishful thinking. State with certainty what you are choosing to create. I am aligned with my highest potential. I am guided by clarity and purpose. I embody coherence in thought, emotion, and action. These declarations, spoken internally or aloud, are like tuning forks, establishing resonance that attracts matching patterns. Action amplifies activation. The Akashic field does not replace effort. It multiplies it. When aligned action flows from your intentions, the universe conspires to support it. Opportunities appear, people respond differently. Circumstances shift not by magic alone, but by the natural interaction of coherence with potential. Every inspired act is a demonstration of alignment, a proof that the field responds. Yet, do not confuse activity with alignment. Many move tirelessly, filling their days with motion, yet remain disconnected from the intelligence beneath. The field cannot be commanded by busyness. It requires resonance. Presence before action is the rule. Awareness is the channel through which manifestation flows. Only when your internal architecture, the breath, the mind, the energy is coherent, does the external world bend in harmony with your intent. You may encounter resistance. The old patterns within you, and the inertia of the world around you will test your commitment. Doubt, fear, and distraction are not failures. They are reminders that the blueprint is still activating. Meet them calmly. Observe them as signals, not obstacles. Each challenge that arises and is met with centered awareness reinforces your alignment, strengthening your channel into the field. This is how the Akashic field draws to you those ready to receive it. Not through force, but through resonance. Not through luck, but through preparation. You have been unknowingly attuning yourself all your life, guided by whispers of intuition, subtle synchronizations, and the echoes of your past choices. Now, your readiness meets opportunity. And so begins the dance of activation and manifestation. Stillness to align, intention to tune, action to amplify. The field responds to the coherence of your living presence. Your thoughts, breath, movement, and attention are not separate. They are the instruments of creation itself. Through them, you can reshape the flow of life around you, awaken latent potential, and step fully into the blueprint that has waited patiently for your recognition. Take a moment now and feel the field around you. Sense its depth, its subtle pulse, its responsiveness. Know that the next phase of your life is not a distant dream. It is already moving toward you, drawn by the resonance you are cultivating. Every breath, every act of presence, every conscious choice is a note in the symphony of your becoming. You are ready. The field is ready. Your alignment begins now. Now that you have opened the channel, that you have allowed stillness to settle and intention to sharpen, it is time to step into manifestation. The Akashic field is not a distant dream or an abstract concept. It is a living intelligence responding to your clarity. It mirrors the resonance of your being, translating internal coherence into external reality. Manifestation begins with alignment of your inner state. Before you act, you must harmonize thought, emotion, and energy. Imagine a bowstring drawn taut. If the string is slack or frayed, the arrow will not fly true. Your inner alignment is the taut string. Your intention is the arrow. Only through precision and resonance can your actions carry force across the field. Consider your energy as a river, flowing through every layer of your being. If it is blocked by fear, doubt, or unresolved patterns, the river stagnates. If it is clear, flowing freely, your intentions gain momentum naturally. Manifestation does not come from struggle, it comes from flow. The Akashic field is a mirror. It reflects the current within you back into the world. Symbols, signs, and synchronicities will appear to guide you. A name, a number, a song, a face, these are not coincidences. They are the field communicating, confirming alignment, and opening doors. Learn to notice, to interpret, to act upon these subtle cues. They are whispers from the vast intelligence that underlies all reality, guiding you toward your highest path. Action itself must be conscious, deliberate, and joyful. The field does not respond to mechanical effort. It responds to presence. Each step you take should be infused with awareness, each gesture grounded in clarity. Movement is prayer. Breath is prayer. Thought is prayer. In this sacred orchestration, you are both the conductor and the instrument, shaping the symphony of your existence. Do not underestimate the role of emotional resonance. The energy you carry is a signal, broadcasting through the field, shaping outcomes before words or deeds. Fear, anger, impatience, these distort the signal, scattering your power. Gratitude, wonder, courage, and focused joy, these align the frequency, drawing toward you the circumstances and people that serve your path. Emotion is the bridge between thought and manifestation. The clearer your bridge, the faster the current flows. Now, visualize your life as a constellation of possibilities. Each star is a potential reality, waiting to be illuminated by your attention and intention. Your role is not to force these stars into a rigid pattern, but to align your frequency so the brightest, most resonant possibilities naturally draw near. This is the difference between wishing and manifesting. The first is desire without resonance. The second is desire woven with coherence. The field also requires trust. Resistance arises when you attempt to control every detail, when you cling to the outcome. This is the trap of the ego, believing that struggle equals creation. True manifestation is letting go while remaining vigilant, surrendering to the process while maintaining the discipline of alignment. It is both an art and a science, a dance of intention and release. Every thought, every choice, every breath becomes a brushstroke in the painting of your life. The Akashic field does not rush. It does not judge. It does not tire. It responds to fidelity, to consistency, to the harmony of your inner world. The longer you sustain alignment, the more the field organizes the outer reality to match your internal resonance. You are now stepping into the role of co-creator. Your life is no longer determined solely by circumstance, by the whims of others, or by unseen forces. It is the unfolding of your own coherent energy, guided by the intelligence that animates all things. Every choice, no matter how small, is a declaration of sovereignty. Every aligned action reverberates outward, amplifying your presence and influence. Manifestation also honors timing and patience. The field does not operate on human schedules. Seeds planted today may bloom tomorrow or months from now, depending on readiness and resonance. This is why consistency is critical. Daily alignment compounds, creating momentum invisible to the casual observer. Your faith and persistence become magnets for the intelligence that orchestrates the unseen. Notice how your awareness of subtle cues sharpens. A conversation that feels charged with meaning. A sudden insight that illuminates a path. A synchronicity that confirms a decision. These are not random. They are confirmation signals from the Akashic field that your resonance is correct, that your alignment is increasing, that the blueprint is unfolding. As you move through the world in this state, you realize that manifestation is not about acquiring, it is about reflecting. The external world becomes a mirror of the internal state of coherence, a dynamic reflection of the clarity, alignment, and resonance you cultivate daily. In this reflection, you find empowerment, freedom, and the proof that the Akashic field is real, active, and responsive. And yet, there is a subtle danger: complacency. Some who glimpse the blueprint and taste the power of the field become enamored with the feeling of influence. This is not the path. Influence is the natural byproduct of alignment, not its purpose. Your purpose is to live coherently, to awaken fully, to participate in the flow of creation consciously. When this is honored, manifestation becomes effortless, inexhaustible, and luminous. The final secret to activation is integration. The practices of stillness, awareness, breath, energy flow, and conscious action are not separate. They form a continuum, a single unified system. The more integrated your practices, the more seamless your resonance with the field becomes. You move through life not as a fragmented being, but as a coherent, living instrument of creation. Now, pause. Close your eyes and feel the field surrounding you. Feel the energy you have cultivated through presence, breath, thought, and intention. Sense its depth, its responsiveness, its intelligence. Know that this energy responds, amplifies, and organizes according to the coherence you maintain. From this point forward, every thought, every action, every breath is part of the living art of manifestation. You are no longer passive. You are no longer a receiver only. You are the signal, the channel, the co-creator, moving through life with awareness, purpose, and resonance. And as the world shifts around you, as opportunities, people, and circumstances respond, you understand this eternal truth. The Akashic field was never distant. It was never waiting for permission. It has always been here. And you, at last, are ready now. You stand at the threshold. Not a threshold of chance, but of awakening. The Akashic field is no longer a distant concept. It is alive in your hands, in your breath, in the flow of your presence. Every subtle shift you have practiced, stillness, resonance, intention, alignment, conscious action has built a channel. This is your conduit to the infinite intelligence that organizes reality. A channel only the ready can perceive. You must understand, This is not magic. It is not illusion, not trickery, not empty mysticism. It is the fundamental law of life made visible, the alignment of consciousness with creation itself. When your inner frequency matches the field, time bends, opportunity accelerates, and your life unfolds in a pattern of precision and grace. The field speaks in symbols, synchronizations, and impulses. It will test you. It will mirror your doubt, your fear, your hesitation. But you are no longer separate. You are now a resonant node. Your clarity, your attention, your disciplined practice, these are the instruments through which the field moves. And in its reflection, you see your own power, your own sovereignty, your own potential to manifest fully. Visualize your life as a vast tapestry. Each thread, each color, each pattern is responsive to the energy you radiate. When you act in alignment, breathing consciously, moving fluidly, observing silence, holding your mind and emotions with clarity, those threads weave effortlessly, forming patterns of opportunity, insight, and abundance. When you act in fragmentation, stress, or distraction, the threads tangle, your tapestry becomes chaotic, and the world reflects back dissonance. Now is the moment of full activation. Let your breath become a drumbeat of your intention. Let your thoughts become arrows of clarity. Let your actions ripple through reality, moving as currents that carry creation in their wake. Everything you have learned, everything you have practiced, culminates in this, the conscious embodiment of your alignment with the field. Do not wait for permission. Do not hesitate for approval. The universe does not grant it mirrors. And in this mirror, you see the reflection of the coherence you now radiate. Step forward fully, and the field will respond in kind. Imagine a golden thread of light extending from your heart, weaving into the infinite. With every heartbeat, with every breath, the thread vibrates in harmony with the field. Your presence amplifies, your awareness deepens, your manifestation strengthens. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are the center of a luminous web, alive with intelligence, alive with possibility, alive with your own awakened potential. And here is the secret that few ever understand. Action without alignment is empty, and alignment without action is dormant. You must hold both simultaneously. Your inner state must be clear. Your intention must be precise. Your actions must be deliberate. When these three meet, the field flows through you like a river of light, shaping circumstances, inspiring connections, and opening doors you did not know existed. Do not underestimate the ripple you can create. Every aligned thought, every intentional action, every mindful breath influences far beyond your immediate perception. Your resonance touches lives you do not yet see. The Akashic field reflects not just your personal life, but the subtle influence you exert in the larger web of consciousness. This is your responsibility, your opportunity, your awakening. Now, carry this knowledge with courage. Practice the stillness. Align your breath. Move with energy. Observe, act, and surrender. Notice the synchronicities, the signs, the confirmations that appear in response to your coherence. Trust in the intelligence that guides you. You are ready. You were drawn to this exact moment, this exact understanding by forces far beyond chance. Remember, the world will continue to present challenges, distractions, and resistance. The old patterns will attempt to reclaim you. Yet the field does not abandon those who are prepared. With consistent practice, deliberate attention, and clarity of intent, you build an unbroken channel that cannot be severed. You become a living example of harmony, flow, and manifestation. A proof that consciousness and creation are intimately intertwined. The Akashic field is not a destination. It is a living process, infinitely responsive to your coherence. Every day, every moment, is an opportunity to strengthen your alignment, to expand your resonance, to manifest with precision and grace. Every breath, every thought, every act is part of this sacred dance. And when fully embraced, the field becomes your ally, your guide, your co-creator, and your reflection. So step forward now. Not tentatively, not uncertainly. Step forward with the confidence of one who has been ready for a lifetime and has finally recognized the call. Breathe with intention. Move with energy. Observe with clarity. Act with precision. The Akashic field has drawn you here, not by chance, but because you are ready. And now, it is your time. Take action. Begin today. Align yourself with the field. Let the ripple of your consciousness awaken what is waiting. Unseen, within and around you. You are ready. You are capable. You are a living expression of the infinite intelligence that surrounds all things. Step forward. The field is waiting, and your life is ready to unfold. If you feel this resonance, do not wait. Begin your practice of stillness, conscious breath, and mindful alignment right now. Document your experience. Notice the synchronicities, and witness your life transform as you step into full harmony with the Akashic field. Share this knowledge with others who are ready, and let your awakening become a beacon in the world.